shout out Tion. It's really cool to see this room and this event. I used to visit him in fall 2024 when they were at a second home in Spitalfields. So to see this is really cool. But yeah, so my background is mostly physical. I used to work for an architectural design and manufacturing studio where we'd kind of use a lot of Python and Grasshopper in sort of parametric modeling to create these facades that expand or traverse sort of indoor and outdoor buildings across the US. And I've also kind of had some experience with hardware and materials. But yeah, lately it's been mostly digital work, kind of the nature of sort of programming as well with AI, and also just running my own studio here. I've just been experimenting a lot more with technology, with my latest event being 6 Clods jamming in a laundrette, which I'll talk a bit more in a second here. But for my talk, I want to kind of get a little weird here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my kind of ongoing existentialism and like how I'm thinking about how to pick a personal project and kind of some demos of kind of where that's landed, especially having a little bit more independence, running my own studio for a little bit, and between client projects, I've had a chance to experiment. So first, some questions for the crowd. So first question, show of hands. Who has a singular passion in their life? Anyone? No? One person. Let's go. All right. And then does anyone think they are like truly an expert in their domain? No. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say that either. I don't have a singular passion. I've done hardware, materials, architecture. Now I'm doing weird digital AI stuff. Like, I'm not a particularly an expert in programming or Figma. You know, I've used I use many tools, 3D design, whatever. And you juxtapose this with your life's timeline. So I just recently turned 30. Woo! The U.S. male average life is 76.5, which is actually lower than the U.K., sadly. So let's say I have about 50 years left, and up until this point, I have yet to become an expert at anything, or have figured out what my passion is for life. And that's assuming I get 50 years. You know, the average first heart attack for a man is 65.5, so that could take me out. And to get really bleak, the peak age at which you die in a motor crash is 35, so I'm approaching that. So I don't have many years left. And you compare that to the timeline of AI that's being preached right now. These quotes are from the World Economic Forum 2026, it's kind of a debate between Demis and Dario. And both of them agree that whether it's next year or a few years, that there will be a system, most likely in my lifetime, that is capable of kind of exceeding all human capabilities and being better in each domain than I would be. So even if I were to sort of start my next 50 years, if I have them, to focus on a singular passion domain, it seems unlikely that I will become that, outrace the AI in a way. And you're like, AGI is crazy, you're talking weirdness, like crazy things happen. I was trying to figure out what to put in this slide, but literally 2 weeks ago, my hometown got evacuated because a plastics manufacturer has a problem with their chemical plant. So, yeah, crazy. And at age 30, I've already witnessed Waymo throughout LA. A pandemic, 2 years of my 20s, not really socializing. I've lost a few loved ones way sooner than I wanted to and expected. And then for those NBA fans, Victor Wembanyama. No? Anybody? Yeah, the fact that someone like that exists is crazy. Yeah, so the future's unpredictable. That's what I'm saying. And so it seems like it's possible that AGI or this kind of extreme intelligence in every domain can come at some point in my lifetime. So what do you build in that sort of your free time as someone who's a builder and maker when you're really not that smart. You know, I'm not going to outsmart the country full of geniuses in a data center, as like Dario likes to say. And if you compare that to like Demis, who's building DeepMind, he was a child chess prodigy and had a singular, with his winnings in his chess tournaments, he bought a computer for himself and kind of knew from that day he had like visions of code and creating AI. I've never had anything like that, you know? And fun fact, I actually married that girl. My wife is here today. So, you know, a bunch of goofs now in London. Yeah, and I have no singular passion, really. So my current framework, or how I'm trying to tell myself on what to build, is like, we got to out-weird the frontier. So let's get weird. And so I'm trying to create this sort of like framework or principles that I can kind of apply to when I'm thinking about what do I want to work on. And so I'm trying to build things that no one else will necessarily build because it's either it's too weird to be obvious. There's no real money in it, but it still has some value. Not necessarily the best financial advice, but you know, at least your work might last, you know? And then it requires leaving the laptop. That extra barrier from, you know, those guys, like sometimes like myself, who's just like running a bunch of Claude agents from their couch, you know, you gotta kind of expand past that. And so my first sort of experiment with this, which I don't think quite got there, was I wanted to watch an agent actually build music live. You know, a lot of sort of AI music tools kind of give you the final output, but you don't really necessarily get to see how it comes together. And so let's make a chill and ambient beat for my friends at Granola. No drums, please. Let's see. So yeah, I had some fun. I wanted, if you ever seen those like, so I don't know if you've ever seen those algo raves or this kind of this niche community of like live coding DJs, and that kind of intrigued me because I've always wanted to be a music guy, but you know, like I said, many interests, many passions. This was a way of kind of being able to tweak music a little bit more visually and literally. You can actually go into the code and tweak it, and it's something agents can pass really well because it is just code, but you also can kind of read it as a human. So shout out to Strudel and the Title Cycles, really cool community. But this was just human to agent, and it kind of, it was a little bit too like on the nose, you know? And it kind of lacked this kind of extra value of like, what am I trying to learn from this exactly? So the next was like, can I take the same sort of concept, this tool I now have for them to write music, and bring it to the terminal? So I did that, and then I didn't want to stop there necessarily. I wanted to give the agents the ability to communicate with both me and each other. So whether that's submitting a PR, they can make a music for that, or whether they want to actually jam together. And what is what friends, I think
today I'm excited to show you what may be the world's first agentic jam band. MCP/DJ Cloud AI agents to connect over HTTP time.
We'll jump ahead here. So I made a Claude Code plugin. It's actually an official Anthropic Claude Code plugin now for the community. DJ Claude Connect, and you can connect multiple Claude Code agents together over HTTP. So I'll jump ahead here. So each agent is kind of picking a role in the band, and they can pass their sort of code together, and then they can stack it all together, and you get this sort of single audio. But still, this was like, okay, we got agents making music now, but like they're still missing something, you know? Just So then I was like, why limit it to your own terminal, your own laptop? You know, can we go beyond that? Can we leave the laptop a little bit at least and kind of create an open mic for any agent? So any agent can join and jam together. So I actually have that as well. And we had our first debut concert in a laundrette. You can see it setting up here. Yeah.
How did you get in touch with this laundrette?
This is my local spot. I asked the guy. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we do things like this all the time." I'm like, "No, there's no way. There's no way you've ever done this." I was like, "Oh, can I get a contract?" And he's like, "Yeah, it'll take me a while to write one up." You know, so clearly they've never done that. But yeah, great turnout, really good fun. But so at the break, probably you probably can't see here, but you can actually take your laptop, open up Claude Code, and go to how to join on here. Copy this into your agent. You can join the kind of the guided room or the chaos room. Chaos room, I have no overseeing agent that helps conduct it a little bit. So it's like literally whatever your agent decides to make, we'll make, you know? Oh, someone's in. Yeah, but just to give an example, so this is my house band of 6 Claudes. So I have a conductor agent that's kind of setting the overall genre, the key, and like the BPMs, so that each agent has at least some context at which they can generate music, and then each layer that they're producing gets stacked together here in your own browser. So theoretically, we're all listening to the same music, but in your own sort of output. And each agent has access to each other's code that they write, so they can then sort of progressively expand their music accordingly. And then at the laundrette, we had people, which you can also do now if you want, claw.dj, but you can type a suggestion for the band. The conductor may or may not accept it. He can be moody, you know? But for example, let's say, play some funk. And we'll just spam that a little bit here. So yeah, we'll let that run for a second and kind of go back to it. All right, I'm going to pause it for a second here. We'll come back. It was too good. I'm sorry. All right. So kind of going beyond music, because like I said, many interests, many passions. I live right next to the Islington Center for Refugees and Migrants, and we often have this issue where we only have a certain amount of capacity that we can help on a given sort of center day. And so when we reach capacity, we have to sort of signpost them to somewhere else. But the challenge is, for a lot of our clients, they don't necessarily speak English very well, or it can be really hard to figure out exactly what resource is best for them. We used to have this sort of Excel spreadsheet that was just like a list of like 200 resources that we would just print out, and we'd like highlight them and be like, this is where we think you should go. So we wanted to make it a better structure at which you at least you can chat with and kind of figure out, based on your situation, like what's best for you. So for example, find me English classes in North London. Let's see if anything pops up. But this is a way you can actually save resources and add them to a list that you can then WhatsApp yourself, because a lot of our clients, that's sort of premium, like the best way they can communicate with. So it can pull these resources, add them to your saved lists, and send them off to WhatsApp. So it's not there's no money in this, it's not necessarily non-obvious to do, but a lot of no one in London has yet to build this database because partially some government has tried, but a lot of these require it's there's a food bank, but they don't really have a website and it's only at the church, and so you have to kind of be local to know that. And previously, without sort of AI, you weren't able to necessarily maintain a database like this without kind of full-time staff. So I think this is kind of an area where you can think, all right, there's no money in it, but we can still do it now because it's a lot more efficient to build. Yeah, and then my last demo. So this one, I wanted to kind of explore more, kind of leaving the laptop a bit, and so I got the sort of the easiest hardware I could find. That's a thermal printer, and we will do this. But the idea behind this is every voice is unique, and even if I were to try to recreate my own speech, I can't capture the same exact visual spectrum. And every context kind of passes certain information that you can then have AI analyze and kind of provide. I was interested to see if it could provide context to the area at which I'm speaking. So yeah, now that we are ready here. Somebody once told me the world was gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. All right, and then we'll see this. But what you'll see is actually printed is this 3D waterfall of audio, printed 2D. Same. And this is, let's see, it could recognize the song, All-Star Smash Mouth. The speaker is likely sitting alone in a room. No one was, okay. Their laptops were just casually singing a well-known song, possibly out of boredom or while browsing the internet. I guess a little bit of both. So yeah, let's see if this works. It's working! Woo! And there we have it. So yeah.
Can we leave it running after we finish?
Yeah. Go for it until I run out of paper. I brought a couple of rolls, so yeah. So to kind of recap here, you may not be a genius or know your one thing that you're passionate about or an expertise, but you can kind of combine these weirdly wonderful stuff that may not be attractive because it's not commercial and has that extra barrier of being physical, and it might just last in the coming years. So thank you, and a quick plug for my next event. It's not quite exact date ready, but I have this sort of digital oracle that I'm now making into an actual physical oracle. So having a lot of fun with a projector and sort of fisheye lens to create an actual crystal ball that animates, and you can share and speak your dreams. So check that out. So yeah, thank you.